Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming to hospital.
It's my pleasure. Yes.
Doctor, what was your experience yesterday?
Yesterday was a beautiful day because I experienced so many people who were unaware of what we are talking about, to bring about awareness in them and to teach them how to be aware and hence, be totally free of suffering. It was a good experience, yes.
So tell me something about the generations which are coming up now.
The generations that are coming up now are going to suffer more if that suffering has not ended in this generation, because every generation adds to it. We have inherited the past and we are adding to that suffering, and the next generation is going to suffer more unless it is dissolved right now at this point.
Where do you see the end to the suffering of human beings?
Human beings are doomed to be suffering, and suffering is going to end up in absolutely destruction of human race. That's what I see. If this suffering does not end, we are talking about psychological, mental suffering, which becomes psychosomatic ultimately. So 99% of your problems, all that suffering, psychosomatic and mental suffering, they are all due to the mind not being used wisely.
But most of the human beings are violent inside. So what is your opinion about it?
Violence has been inherited in us and we are violent. Violent does not mean only just to be killing someone or being physical to someone. Violence also means hurting people psychologically, hurting yourself and inflicting a lot of suffering on yourself. First of all, you got to stop this violence that is within you for yourself, and that is what we are talking about right now, to end the suffering within you. Unless that is stopped, you will see that you are being violent to yourself, and hence that violence projects outside and you are being automatically violent to other people.
So and what is the end? What is the end to the violence that the human being is undergoing now? And is there any remedy?
There is a remedy, and you got to dissolve it, because you got to see it very closely that this violence is the product of time. It is manufactured by mind because of time, past and future projected. Now if you look at it very clearly and closely, you will see that time is the enemy. Time creates violence, psychological time we mean. So it has to end right now, it has to be dissolved right now.
So when you say psychological time, does psychological space also plays a role?
Psychological time and psychological space, they are one. Okay, chronological time is one aspect, psychological time is another psychological aspect which is within the mind. Okay, so now what happens is, every human being at this moment in the skull carries time, past and future. It has no relevance to outside. It does not exist outside. It is non-existent outside, and it is just existing within the mind.
True.
So this is creating a lot of friction, contradiction, conflict within the mind,
okay,
which ensues and results in violence.
Okay.
Now what we need to do is, end time. Ending of time is ending of violence.
Do you really mean to say, is it psychological stillness which Patanjali also spoke about it some few thousand years ago?
Psychological stillness is, that means, the mind is still. Now for the while the mind is still, those moments, the brain cells, they rejuvenate, they renew themselves, and they are able to breathe, for those moments. They have space, immense space, when there is ending to psychological time. And that's the time the mind rejuvenates, renews itself. Now if you keep on doing it through practice, you will see that, your mind has become immense, big, without any measure or without any limitations.
Are there really some techniques or methods by which you can still your mind?
Yes, there is one. Buddha called it dhyana.
Okay.
Dhyana is possible only in the now. So close to it we can bring this word awareness,
Okay.
which is possible only in the now.
Okay.
Now when you are talking about now, it doesn't mean that it's time based now.
Okay.
Now means no time.
Okay.
Now in awareness you are breaking all the structures of time that are built through thousands of years within the mind that compel you to live in time,
Okay.
that compel you to live in the skull,
Okay.
that compel you not to go out and venture out into this cosmic consciousness, which is immense.
Okay. Okay. Do you mean to say that the enlightened gurus, they are more aware of the now rather than the common man?
They are more aware, but there is this certain gurus who are more aware or absolute aware of the now, this moment. They are not worried about coming into the limelight and all that. Okay, there could be a guy in a, say, Himalaya sitting in a corner and still enlightened, because that guy does not have any ego. He doesn't
So
want
you
to
mean
be.
to say true saints?
Yeah, true saints, they do not want to become famous and all that. So they are there, but they are unknown. They are unknown. Now let's talk about common men. How we can enhance and reinforce that awareness skill, which is already there inherent in us, to strengthen it. Now
When you talk about the awareness, when you